Data MatchMaker is a framework for matching research objects, repositories, and people during the data curation and publication process. For example, Data MatchMaker is used in the SEED project to match research objects with repositories like ICPSR and IDEAS by fetching people profiles from ORCID, Google, etc. Data MatchMaker is developed by the Data to Insight Center at Indiana University and freely available under the Apache license. In this short video, we are going to see how Data MatchMaker works, how to check out the source code and run samples. Here's the wiki page, which explains the idea behind Data MatchMaker in detail. This diagram shows how Data MatchMaker works. When a research object profile comes into the Data MatchMaker, it provides a list of matching repositories with a match score as the result. Repository profiles and people profiles are loaded into memory during the matchmaking process. All profiles should be defined as JSON LD documents and can be loaded either through the REST endpoint or from the local file system. Data MatchMaker uses the JBoss rules framework as the underlying rule engine in the matchmaking process. This is the Git repository for Data MatchMaker, which includes the full source code with configuration and installation guide. Now let's see how we can clone this Git repository and try out a few samples. In order to clone the repository, first click on the Clone and Download button and copy the clone URL. Then open a shell and use the git clone command to clone the repository by providing the copied URL. Now, when we move into the Data MatchMaker directory, we can see the full source code. It contains a Maven-built script, and first you have to build the project using the maven clean install command. Now we have successfully built the source code and we are ready to try our Data MatchMaker. Now let's see how to run a sample. This page under Samples provides the steps to run the samples. First, we have to execute create sample lib script to download all needed libraries into a local directory. Okay, the first step is done. Now let's move into the samples directory and see what we have. There are two samples here, and we are going to try sample 0. Let's see what we have under sample 0. The profile directory contains the JSON LD templates for research object, repository, and people profiles. All profiles passed into the matchmaking engine during runtime must follow these templates. Let's quickly check the person template here. You can see that it's a JSON LD template and defines the attributes required for a person in this sample. And then the sample profiles directory contains the actual profiles used for sample 0 at runtime. Let's see how that looks. you can see that this profile follows the template that we saw earlier. And then the rules directory contains the rules rule definition used for this sample. Let's take a simple rule defined here. First, rule checks whether the total size of a given research object matches the maximum accepted size of a given repository. Likewise, you can define your own rules here. Now let's execute sample 0. As you can see here, our next step is to build sample 0. Now execute build.sh script. Okay, now we've built the sample 0. Let's move back and execute the sample. When executing the sample, we provide the research object profile as a parameter and expect the list of matching repositories as the result. Our research object profile for this sample can be found under Sample Profiles. Okay, now we've successfully executed the sample and got the matching result. Internally, it loads repository and people profiles from the Sample Profiles directory and executes the rules defined in the rules file that we saw before. Now, if we look at this match result, there are 3 repositories, and we've got the match percentages for each of them. That's all we have for sample 0, and there's another sample which you can try. These command line samples are just to make it easy for users to understand how Data MatchMaker works. To use it in your data publication process, you can host Data MatchMaker as a REST service. Please follow the configuration and installation guide for further details. That's all we have for this short video, and hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions or issues, please create an issue under our Git repository. Thank you for watching.